Since Buddhism emphasizes on community and dialogue, in what ways does the summit aim to translate individual wisdom into collective ethical action?
So from that point of view, I think this second global summit, Buddhist summit, is significant in itself, and it will definitely come out with the...
How does this summit embody unity without erasing diversity among Buddhist traditions?
Diversity in a Buddhist tradition has been achieved by efforts of thousands of years.
What long-term impact do you hope that the second Global Buddhist Summit will have on global policy conversations?
Frankly talking, just having a summit itself is not solving any problem. With the summit, we also need a mechanism where the outcome of summit is kind of brought to those people who are policymakers.
Welcome to the Prabha at Dialogus. We have an eminent guest today who is going to share with us how to grapple with challenges in the modern world through timeless teachings of Buddha. Venerable Khen Rinpoche Jangchup Choeden. He was born in Himachal Pradesh, India, trained from his teen years at the prestigious Tibetan Buddhist Institute Garden Shartse Noling Monastery in Karnataka, under many great Tibetan masters, including direct guidance from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Among many achievements, he was instrumental in including modern science in monastic curriculum and convened dialogues on Vinaya among various Buddhist groups. Please welcome Venerable Khen Rinpoche Jangchup Choeden.
Thank you for having me here.
Venerable, among many other qualities, is also the Secretary General of the International Buddhist Confederation. And we are here to discuss a key event which is coming up this month, the second Global Buddhist Summit. In this regard, Venerable, we would like to know, since Buddhism emphasizes on community and dialogue, in what ways does the summit aim to translate individual wisdom into collective ethical action?
You see, the summit is a valuable kind of gathering in itself. This is the second one. The last one we had a couple of years back, and it's important in the sense that we have to provide a kind of international platform for the Buddhist kind of followers, and then so that they can use the platform to discuss the challenges they are faced by them in a collectively manner or in an individual manner, and then after discussing those things, then they can also try to resolve the issues and then find out kind of some really kind of applicable practical solutions. So from that point of view, I think this second global summit, Buddhist summit, is significant in itself, and it will definitely come out with the pure and clear guidance to the global community, where now we are quite kind of in a chaotic situation. Now and there, every day when I listen to the news broadcast, it appears like we are on the kind of nuclear sitting on the kind of edge of the nuclear war. So in such a kind of situation, in such a time, and this kind of this summit will work like a real medication for the humanity. So I do believe very strongly that it will be very helpful.
Thank you, Rinpoche. The phrase, many in body, one in mind, is deeply evocative. According to you, how does this summit embody unity without erasing diversity among Buddhist traditions?
You see, diversity in a Buddhist tradition has been achieved by efforts of thousands of years, and we have to respect it. Though there are kind of differences, we have to learn to respect it. And then what we can do now is to how to instill kind of unity among those people who are kind of enjoying such a kind of diverse differences in the community. So there is no other choice. There is no other choice. If we have another choice, then that will be okay. But there is no other choice than having a unity and having some kind of collective thinking. So physically we are all different, but we can build up a collective understanding and kind of one single thinking, like the achievement of global peace and universal achievement of peace and harmony. These are something that should be tried to kind of explored, because I do remember very strongly that His Holiness the Dalai Lama always used to say that oneness of 6 billion human beings, that really kind of shows something. All the human beings are equal in terms of physical pain, in terms of mental suffering, everything. We are all equal, we are all same. There are little variations in terms of races, in terms of kind of economic prosperity and such things, but that should not be the yard scale of how to kind of measure the human community. The human community should be, human beings should be kind of understood in a kind of equal sense, and in a same like oneness we should be seeing that. So from here I think this is a very important topic that should be kind of achieved, and that slogan is kind of itself is a kind of mind-boggling in one way.
Having understood the Buddhist philosophy from your answers, let us understand what is the strategic context of this particular summit. The theme this year is Collective Wisdom, United Voice and Mutual Coexistence, which is built on the first summit that took place in April 2023. So how does this edition advance the journey from philosophical reflection to actionable global engagement?
You see, the collective wisdom and the kind of united voice is the motto of the kind of International Buddhist Confederation. The International Buddhist Confederation has been kind of using that slogan since its beginning. This is a very powerful and kind of very meaningful slogan that we should be kind of learning and we should be kind of following. And then we also add up something this year that is kind of mutual understanding. So in that way, I think philosophy in general teaches us how to think, and that is the way, that is what philosophy teaches. And then how to think should not only just limit it up to that point, it must go a step further to how to apply those thinking in their life. So when the application of the philosophy, when the application of the right thinking and right philosophy is happened, then that will change the life itself. When the change of a life happens from one individual to two individual to three individual, and then it spread, then it becomes a change in the community level and ultimately in the global level. So that is a kind of a strategic way of how do we function in a practical way, how do we should kind of work towards bringing a change, a positive change in the global community. So I do believe very strongly that that should be the strategy, and that is the strategy. That's it.
So, how does the Global Buddhist Summit contribute to intercultural and interfaith dialogue at a time when identity-based divisions are growing worldwide?
Global Buddhist Summit also inspires other kind of faith and other cultural kind of entities to carry on the similar activities as we do that. If it is possible for us to do that, why not it is going to be possible for some other community to do that? So in that way we can inspire, we can be an example of how to harmoniously kind of work together with having all the differences in philosophy, differences in thinking, differences in kind of culture and differences in behavior, but still we can work together without any conflict. So that kind of exemplary kind of conduct of the Global Buddhist Summit will definitely kind of attract the other faith and other culture which may also do the similar things. Global Buddhist Summit itself is not a kind of a multi-faith gathering, but sometimes we do have multi-faith gathering. So multi-faith gathering, we need to learn how to tolerate each other and how to respect each other. So that spirit is always there in the Global Buddhist Summit.
It is said that the Global Buddhist Summit is expecting representatives from more than 50 countries. And in that context, from an Indian perspective, how does hosting the Global Buddhist Summit strengthen its civilizational role as the land of the Buddha in contemporary global discourse?
You see, India is a very, very important nation. In some countries now, which is superpower, when they were kind of wearing skins and they were kind of foragers, India was a kind of epicenter of the culture and epicenter of the knowledge. So that is India's kind of strength, and that is India's specialty. India need to identify that specialty. With identifying that specialty, India need to carry forward that kind of knowledge tradition, which was kind of cherished and which was built up by the Indian ancient kind of ancestors in this country. Like for an example, Nalanda was kind of a global epicenter for knowledge. Some superpowers are still kind of foraging in the forest and kind of killing the animals for day-to-day eating and those kind of things. So these are something that we need to be proud about, we need to realize about, unless we may kind of feel like we are economically backward and we are still a developing country and why we are lacking those kind of things. But we need to know that we have a very kind of rich past in terms of culture and tradition and kind of values and in teachings and those kind of things. We need to we need to evoke those things. We need to revive those things. If we can revive those things, we can truly become a kind of Vishwaguru again. Vishwaguru, India was a Vishwaguru in its history, but India can be Vishwaguru again. But for that, we need to work, and we need to work with a kind of a vision.
There are very interesting sub-themes to the Global Buddhist Summit this year. So according to you, what role does mindfulness, compassion and ethical restraint play in addressing the moral challenges posed by technology and rapid modernization?
You see, technology and rapid modernization is one part of it. Extreme kind of materialism is another part of it. Technology and rapid modernization won't come without extreme modernization. So extreme modernization has kind of affected everything that is happening around us. Now to get out of that, we need to look into the spirituality part of it. If we become more spiritual, we will kind of reduce becoming more kind of materialistic. when we reduce becoming more materialistic, then we have a more kind of friendly coexistence with the technology and the modernization. So for that reason, I think it's really important that we should or we must kind of put certain degree of emphasis on spirituality, which we in Hindi we say Adhyatam Vidya. Adhyatam Vidya is in itself kind of a very important subject that we must focus on, unless humanity will become a kind of mindless beings. So here, for that reason, the mindfulness and compassion and loving kindness, these values are required to be instilled in the kind of human beings, and particularly on the in the new generation that is coming up, because future is all dependent on the new generation. So we need to kind of build up a new generation of people who value these things, who value these moral values, and who kind of cherish these moral values, and who try to live their life according to these moral values.
Given that the summit is giving space to so many voices from various Buddhist traditions, how does the summit give special attention to the Sangha dynamics? And how can the monastic traditions inspire inclusive and resilient communities in contemporary society?
The monastic institutions, there are different varieties of monastic institutions. There are monastic institutions, those are the kind of education center. There are monastic institutions, those are the cultural center. Those are kind of, those cater to the requirement of the public. So the monastic institutions, those are kind of epicenter of the education, Buddhist monastic education, needed to be kind of required or accepted as a monastic institution, as a kind of educational epicenter. So at most of the time, there is a kind of misunderstood notion about the monastic institution. Like all the monks are just living a life of a mendicant, and they have plenty of life for kind of doing the meditation and those kind of things. They are just focused on that, but it is not like that. They do a lot of research there, they do a lot of study there, they do a lot of kind of educational activities there. Those are needed to be understood. When those are understood, then driven by that kind of understanding, the community and the people should be kind of approaching them for those kind of knowledge. And then when they are approached for those kind of knowledge, then they can contribute from their knowledge bank and their experiences. So from that point of view, kind of addressing and recognizing the importance of monastic institute is very important. So far, which is a kind of a gap that has been kind of felt for, and I think the due respect and due recognition, those are needed to be given to the monastic institute, definitely will gradually come up as a result of these kind of summit. Because when we sit in these kind of summits, we can also have opportunity to listen to the minds, those are trained in the Buddhist monastic institutes. So then we get kind of overwhelmed by seeing how can you train such a kind of a refined mind in such a backward institute, which is not even recognized as a kind of education center.
Looking beyond January 26 this year, what long-term impact do you hope that the second Global Buddhist Summit will have on global policy conversations?
Frankly talking, just having a summit itself is not solving any problem. With the summit, we also need a mechanism where the outcome of summit is kind of brought to those people who are policy makers, who are decision makers, and then decision makers listen to those kind of outcome, and then driven by those listening and understanding of those outcome, then they change their kind of thinking and driven by that, they change the policies, how to interact with each other and how to kind of strategize one's own kind of kind of interest and those kind of things. Such thing is important. So the summit itself is a platform where the intellectuals and the leaders come together and then discuss the problems. But the outcome, whatever kind of outcome is achieved, that should be accessible to policymakers. Unless we influence the policymakers, there is no way that we can bring any change into the society. So this is really important. We also need to do some work in that part.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Venerable Khenri Rinpoche, Jangchup Choeden, Secretary General of the International Buddhist Confederation. The second Global Buddhist Summit is due on 24th and 25th of January at the Bharat Mandapam, New Delhi.
Thank you. Thank you very much.